Hello, this is Rico Cavella, and this is your Ageless Body Self-Care Guide, Operations Manual for the Human Body and the Mind. And the title of this session is How to Live a Radiant, Turned On Life. You know, the whole concept of this whole project is how to take the best possible care of your human body and your mind so that you can get and stay healthy and fit and energetic all of your life, and so that you can live a radiant, turned on life. That's what we want for you, and that's what we need you to do, because as you know, we have lots of challenges in the world today. So we need everybody to be their best self and live this radiant, turned on life so you can go out and make a difference in the world and help to create a better life for all of humanity. So that's what we're all about. And we have a great guest today. Her name is Christine Howard. She is a sought-after speaker and innovative business leader. She guides women to awaken their radiance, achieve their soul-centered callings, and to live a fulfilled, turned-on life. So welcome, Christine Howard.
Hello, Rico. I am so excited to be with you today.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us. So let's get right into it. So
Sure.
how about we're talking about a radiant, turned on life. So define how you define a radiant, turned on life.
I would be happy to. Let me describe it this way. A radiant, turned on life is a life where you wake up every morning excited for who you get to be and what you get to create.
So good.
You wake up in gratitude. You wake up with peace for where you're at and where you're going. I would say that is how I describe it externally in a nutshell. But to get there, what that truly means is that you are taking full ownership of your life. You are living in alignment with what's important to you from a value perspective, from your soul callings perspective. You are truly owning your authentic self and doing your best every day to bring that forward. And that life then is filled with joy and happiness, fulfillment. It's not free of challenges, but when someone's living that radiant life turned on, they see their challenges from a different perspective. They see them as opportunities. And so this is a big new vision and version of how you can live your life. And that would be how I would at least initially describe it. I know we'll talk more detail in a minute.
Well, no, that was a great description. So good. So well said. And I just want to add, and I think everyone would definitely want to live the life that you just described. Yes. And our message is you can, and we want you to, and you can. And so that's what this session is all about. So you're going to learn not only why it's so important and that you can do it, and how to get started and how you can actually live that life. So talk a little bit about, I mentioned a few things at the beginning, but why is it so important to really learn how to live a radiant, turned on life?
Great question. And I'm going to answer by starting with this, Rico. I don't think it's important. I actually think it's critical.
Okay.
And it's critical because if we look at putting current life or current world conditions aside, if we look at the overall collective state of the world, the unhappiness, the lack of fulfillment, the health issues, broken relationships, lack of abundance, we could go on and on with listing all the conditions and situations that we have collectively created. Right? So it's critical right now for us to step into what is truly innately our life, how our life is supposed to be lived. This was how we were initially created. And when we get back to living that authentic way by honoring who we are and what we're desiring to bring forth and really to express our essence, then we repair the health issues. We repair the relationship issues. We heal ourselves internally of those things that we came into the world with, or those things that we were conditioned with as we grew up. And as a result, what do we have? I said it in the beginning, we have fulfillment, we have joy, we have then this ripple effect that occurs, right? When we take care of ourselves and we honor who we are and we express ourselves fully, authentically with love and compassion, that's going to ripple out to everybody we interact with. And that's going to raise the consciousness of the world. That's going to raise the health and the happiness and the love within the world. And we're going to see that positive impact, that ripple effect across the world.
So well expressed. So thank you so much. Yeah, as you said, that's our innate nature. You know, we come from source. You know, however you think of source
Yeah.
or creator or God, we're part of that. So we come with all those qualities. And so I think that's our challenge, to recognize that and be aware of that and discover the qualities inside of us that we have, that we can live this radiant, turned on life, and we can make a big difference in the world. So that's so good. I love the way you expressed that.
Good.
Awesome.
Good.
So the question though is, so why are so many people struggling with this and not living that kind of a radiant, turned on life?
Like everything, there's multiple reasons. There's no one single reason, but I will say, and I mentioned it just briefly, the collective conditioning that we all have. And specifically, I want to talk about how we've been taught over time to live from here, that we need to think our way through things. We need to have a plan, a strategy, and what we've taught from families, education, our culture, our society has us looking externally for our joy, for our fulfillment, our success. And over time, we've been disconnected, right? We've been cut here at the neck, and we've lost connection with the higher part of ourselves, that inner wisdom, that higher consciousness. And so many people don't even realize, Rico, don't even realize that this is a potential for them. They're down this straight and narrow road or in this box, and they have no peripheral vision. So that's, again, several of the main reasons why I've seen it happen. And when people then, on the flip side, when they do start to waken up and see and wonder, there has to be more, or what if there is more, or I feel something, what if I explore that? A lot of times people self-sabotage and they stop themselves from living that radiant, turned on life. And why is that? For numerous reasons. One, they're afraid. They're afraid of what's going to happen, because it means stepping into the unknown, and people freak out. I was one of those people with the unknown. They're also afraid of criticism and judgment. And they're actually many times putting judgment on themselves. Oh, I just can't do that. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. Again, layers of conditioning around that. And so they ultimately, many people hold themselves back from achieving that, even if they start to feel the sense that it's possible for them.
Yeah. So again, you expressed it so well. Yeah, I think when we're talking before this, before we started here, I like to think that one of the biggest challenges that we have as humanity is lack of expectation of what's possible in our life, as you were
Yes.
talking about. And we're so much more powerful than we can imagine, and we can create great things in our life, and that's really why we're here. And I think you know how it's said that we're run pretty much 90% on our subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind has just taken in all this negativity and all this lack and limitations that is so rampant in the world. I don't know exactly why that all started, but it has. And
Right.
so we're just running it and we're just going with that. But the cool thing is, our conscious mind, when we're aware and we're conscious of what we're thinking and feeling and doing, it can override our subconscious. Our conscious mind we can change our conscious mind. And the last thing I want to say is that, as you said, we created the life that we have right now. So that means if it's not the best, that we can create something better.
Absolutely. Well said. Great additional points to really help people understand they are powerful beyond measure. And when we limit our power to what we can think, I forgot the number specifically, but I'm going to, for sake of things right now, say it's maybe, 10% of our potential, is probably even 1% of our potential with what we can think. When we tap into all of our wisdom and the collective wisdom of the universe, it is truly unlimited.
And it's so exciting, isn't it? It is so exciting when
It
you
is.
begin to realize how much power you have and what you can create, and
Yeah,
let go of all this negativity and all these limiting beliefs, and just realize, why should you believe anything that's not that's not optimistic or good
right.
for yourself? Why have any negative beliefs about yourself when you can believe anything you want? So yeah, I was just saying, it's so important to understand that you can create this life, and that you can. So let's talk about now, get into some ways that you have learned, and how you can help people to really get started, to wake up and realize, and get started on this path to live in a radiant, turned on life.
Absolutely. So here's what I do when I work with somebody, Rico. It's 5 core steps, and then they actually get repeated over and over again. Number 1, it is a self-assessment, and we take a look at, where are you today in your life? And this is done, I want to preface this with, or make this really clear, this is done with love and compassion and support. This is not a time for criticism and self-judgment, which everybody is masterful at.
Yeah,
Like, let's break that cycle, right? Let's break that cycle. So look at where you're at, what is working, and let's acknowledge that and celebrate that. Because if anybody looks at their life, I guarantee there's things that are going well, or working well, either inner qualities or external things. So let's celebrate that, and then look at what's not working well, and just bring an awareness to it. You have to start there with that awareness. That's step number 1. Then step number 2 is diving a little bit deeper and looking at the pain points. And a lot of people, again, don't like to look at the pain points. They want to brush things under the rug, or say it's not so bad, or I'm dealing with it. But that is, that's holding you back, right? So the more we can just know that part of what comes with the territory is imperfection, and it's not to be judged. It's here for us. I know we've talked about that before. So what are those pain points? Let's get some clarity around that, and let's get some acceptance that this is where you're at right now. And then that can be fuel to move forward. So then step number 3 is to create a vision, to step back and be in curiosity, be in wonder. What would I love my life to look like? Or what would I love this one area of my life to look like that's, maybe really out of alignment? Start to put a picture. Who are you being in that new reality? What are you doing? What are you saying? How are you showing up? And reignite that inner creative fire that you have. We all have it. And again, it requires us to move from here to our whole body.
Yeah.
So that's the 3rd step. And then the 4th step is, I have people, my clients, to really, really fully start to connect with their inner powers. Really embody a strong sense of self-worth, really start to pay attention and be aware about your mindset, connect with your intuition. There's 7 different powers, Rico, that I teach my clients. And we don't have time to go into all of them today, but through my resources, people can learn about that. And then once you start to, this is the fuel. This is like that rocket fuel that gets you off the starting ground, because what you're doing is you're re-engaging all of your natural essence, right? Your natural powers to move you toward those dreams, desires, callings, whatever you have to say about it. So that's 4 steps. And then the last step truly is to take all of that, and from the place of listening, what is it that you can do to bring this idea to life? Or take your vision and now break it down to something tangible. Specifically with my clients, Rico, a lot of the women that I work with, and the men too, but it's mostly women, come to me with something they want to achieve. They have that calling, And it's that calling that was on the back burner while they raised their kids or while they supported their husband growing his career. And now they're an empty nester. And it's time they just feel this overwhelming desire to really start to step into a bigger version of their life. So we help them to get clarity on what is that vision and what is a project that is in support of that vision. So those are 5 things. And then the cool thing about this, Rico, is this process, you just keep repeating over and over. You start taking steps. Then you look at what's working, what's not working, where am I at? You continue to peel back the layers, because when you say yes to one thing based on where you're at right now, that opens the door then to that next level, right? So very quickly, my clients start to see a bigger vision than what they came in with on the first session. And it's amazing, because all these little fires and lights, start being ignited, and it really does rev somebody up for just a beautiful journey of life.
It sounds so good, and I can really see how that works, especially if, like I say, for people who have that feeling that they know that they can do better and they want to do better, so they come and get your coaching and get your training. But what can you tell people who maybe are listening, and there are so many people, I'm afraid, in this category,
Yeah.
who are still stuck, and they think, well, they think they're different. They don't know about me. I had all this, no matter what happened, if I had child abuse or whatever, you don't know what happened to me, and this ain't gonna, I had all these terrible things and all this. So how can you help people to realize that they can let go of that and they don't have to let the past dictate their future?
That's a great question. And I love and appreciate everybody for where they're at on their journey. And I know for myself, years ago, I never would have imagined reaching out for help to someone, because I was raised, as many of us, that you needed to be a self-starter and independent and take care of yourself. Those are great qualities, but taken to the extreme, it can keep you stuck, which is where I was. So I tried to figure a lot of things out on my own. And fortunately, there are a lot of great free resources and books and programs and all of that. So here's what I would say to that person. Number 1 is to do a self-check. Are you taking 100% responsibility for your life at this point in your life? And again, I'm going to raise both hands here, because back in the day, before my transformation and my wake-up calls, I was not. I was giving my power away. So when, if you're giving your power away, you are never going to live your fullest life. You're not going to be able to achieve who you truly are. And so number 1, do that self-check, and then be willing to say, I take 100% responsibility for where I'm at in my life now. Yes, if you've had old, traumas and things happen, get the help you need to clear that. And there's a lot that can be done very easily without a lot of pain, I believe, to clear that. But you have to be the one stepping into the driver's seat to do that. That's step number 1. And then step number 2 is to to believe that you can live a different life than you live right now. If you don't believe it, guess what? That's what you're going to get. You're going to get the same old status quo. You're just going to keep repeating your life day after day after day. So step into and say, I believe there's something more. Even if you say, I choose to be curious to see, right? Like sometimes people have a hard time making that leap from I'm here to I am this new, great, wonderful person, thing, achieved, whatever. So sometimes you have to say, I choose to explore this, or I choose to be this, and it helps you get there. So look at your belief and believe it can be possible. The third thing is to listen. To listen. But what should you listen to? Don't listen to the self-talk, the old stories, the old programs. Drop in. There's, again, great resources. Apps like Insight Timer is one of my favorites, to teach you how to get still and listen to your inner wisdom. Because we need to reconnect. Everyone needs to reconnect with what is truly calling to them from the deepest, most innate, pure essence of themselves. So I'd say today, whenever you're listening to this or watching this, sit for 10 minutes. And if a bunch of stuff comes up, perfect. Write it down, clear it out, clear it out. When I started this process, Rico, it took me several iterations before I could just purely listen and let divine information come up or my inner wisdom speak to me. So commit to taking time, to pause. And then the next step is, with whatever comes up, create a new vision for your life. You can definitely, where you put your attention is what you can create. So start very small, just with one tiny area. What would that look like for you to, maybe it's drawing a boundary, right? We don't have to go for the big thing. Again, I speak so many times from my own experiences, but just being able to say no, that might be your next step, or your first vision is to say no and create boundaries. So that would be the next one. And then to actually, take some time, take the baby steps over the course of weeks and months to bring that new vision to life and to celebrate yourself along the way. And those are all just very small, doable things, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, that you can start to build that muscle of confidence and trust and inner strength.
Again, you expressed that so well. Yeah, I'm so good. I just want to add too is that, how I firmly believe, that everything happens for a reason in our life. So no matter how hard something may have happened to you in the past, you have to look at it that there's a reason for that. And the saying that, our challenges are our blessings, that's the kind of concept you have to embrace, that our challenges are truly our blessing, our blessings. And when you step into your fear or whatever you're upset about, angry about, it just dissipates and goes away. So no matter what has happened to you in your life, you can let that go, and you can use that as a stepping stone to get you to where you need to be. So I think that's a really thing that if people can really understand that everything's happened for a reason, and that they can move forward no matter what happened in the past.
100%. Yes. So yeah, look at that. Look at where you have the repetitive patterns. That's a great thing when you go into that quiet time and that listening time, is what are the repetitive patterns that you keep repeating day after day, week after week, year after year, that I call the low-hanging fruit. And it's the really obvious stuff that you can address first. And we don't have to tackle it all at once. I think people have that fear that if I'm improving myself, or I'm taking this new journey to be my best self, that all of my life is good as I know it is going to go away. And that's may be true, but probably not true. And some things will stay that support you and work for you, and other things you're gonna be happy over time to let go of, because they just don't feel right anymore.
That's so good. And well, what I thought about when you were saying that is it's about change. We tend to want to resist change. And in fact, all of nature, which we are part of, is constantly in flux and change. Everything's changing. And, one of the famous sayings I love sayings a lot, is that really the only time we really truly struggle in our life when we're resisting change. So life is all about change. And so we need to embrace that and realize that change is good, and that you can keep on changing and growing, and your life can get better as you age.
100%. And I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning, but I love that you are about living agelessly and having this vitality in no matter what the calendar says, right? And one thing I have found, and one thing I absolutely know to be true, is that when you choose to live a radiant life turned on, you have more energy, you have more vitality, you do radiate. People they want to know what you're taking. What are you doing that I don't know? But it is truly because the energy, there's so much energy that you are creating from the inside out, versus like you said, when you resist change, you spend so much energy to resist change, to resist looking at your growth edges, to resist facing a problem. Boy, I mean, I went through many times when I was exhausted, but it was because I was trying so hard not to deal with things than just to face it and flow with it. And it is truly, I believe, a radiant turned on life is the fountain of youth.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's all about raising your vibration. As you said, when you raise your vibration by doing all the things that you were mentioning, people feel that. People can pick up on that energy and that vibration, and so many more things. People just show up in your life that's going to be really helpful, and just it's just. So I think the main message here is that your radiant turned on life is right there in front of you. You just got to step into it, right?
Absolutely. I love that. It's so true.
Yeah,
So
just step into it. So I want to remind people that along with this video training, there's a PDF where it has all the information of how you can contact Christine and learn about her coaching and whatever gifts or products she has to offer and how you can stay connected. And again, I highly recommend you get some coaching because, you know, coaching has become so prevalent and popular these days. And it's because now it's widely known that coaching is the surest and most effective way to achieve your goals. So we all have coaches. I have coaches. Christine has coaches.
absolutely.
The most successful people in the world have coaches. You know, so it just really makes some sense to get some help. I mean, you have to commit yourself and start yourself, but get some help, and it'll make a huge difference in your life.
Right. Well, I want to say last quick little thing along that line is we are not alone. And when you take the time to commit to what I just shared, right? And do your version of what I shared and speak it to somebody, find an accountability partner, a friend, a neighbor, a family member. That's one very simple way. You're putting things in motion, right? You're telling the universe, I am ready to do something different. I have a free Facebook group, and I know in your information, we'll make sure we include it. You can join that, the Radiant Achievement Society, which is all about supporting people to take that journey, their unique journey. And I also do a discovery call where, again, the information we talked about, let's put your specific, unique plan together to get you moving to that next level.
Christine, that was so good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So the only thing I got left to say is we want you to know that you can do it. So just do it, right? Just get out there,
Yeah.
take the first step and let's do it. Because we need you to do it, right? The world needs you to show up as your best self, and you can do it and get some help. You can do it. Thanks very much for being here. Thanks for watching.